Looks like we are live.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
All right.
Hello.
What's up, everyone? I'm Chris. Obviously, I'm gonna run this. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we're
we
good.
can hear you.
We're good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves.
I guess we'll start off with Rattlesnake. Why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I was trying to quote tweet this thing. What's up? It's Rattlesnake, host of the Chairgating podcast, the worst non-NASCAR podcast on the internet. We have the worst opinions, and we'll back them up. Check us out. We're going to do a live episode tomorrow night. I think probably 9 p.m. Eastern time, so it's going to be a late one. But it's going to be a good one because, wow, Daytona.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well go next. I'm Matt from the Rambling About Racing podcast. Like the Chairgating podcast, our opinions on are our own. However, we do like Chairgating, back them up. We might have some stuff. Don't just talk NASCAR, though. We talk Formula One. Maybe not as much Indy as I would like to, because I have my own opinions about the IndyCar series that I could go down the rabbit hole with. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Daytona and the upcoming playoffs for the NASCAR Cup Series.
That's right. All right. Well, Caleb, let's go ahead and give yourself a little introduction to everybody out there watching.
Yep. My name's Caleb. It's my first year covering the NASCAR Cup Series. I've always been a football guy, but I got tired about writing about the Patriots every year, especially after last year. So I needed to find something else to do, and Chris was happy enough to show me the ropes, and here I am, almost a full season later. And Daytona. Let's get right into that and NASCAR playoffs, and let's have some fun here.
I do notice, Caleb, you have a Chase Elliott hat on.
Yeah, it's a hat because I don't have my guy hat yet, but I do have the T-shirt.
Well, at least you're halfway right.
I mean, we can talk Chase Elliott.
I'm sure we will.
Elliott. Not much at all to talk about Chase Elliott. He choked. He couldn't do it.
Yep.
And he shot himself in the foot from the start of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd rather not
literally
talk about Chase. Obviously, I'm wearing the Bill shirt because I couldn't rep the disappointment that I have for Chase right now.
That's why I did it for you. So.
All Chase Elliott fans need to do is go to the track now with a paper bag over their head. I mean, I'm sorry. If you haven't listened to my podcast at all, you'll notice that anytime a driver wins most popular driver, I'm automatically against that driver.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Honestly.
I can understand it. I can get the hate there, but I could also argue a different way. Like, he hasn't really deserved the hate. Come on now.
He doesn't. His fans do.
I guess it's fans.
Yeah, some of them.
I've seen Chase Elliott win a couple races and whatever. I actually saw him win the Roval race where he ran into the wall, and I thought he's done. No, an awesome drive through the field, so props on that one. But
I don't know how many people here listen to Actions Detrimental.
Oh God, I will not listen to anything that Denny Hamlin has to say. If I have to hear his voice, I will throw my head through a wall.
So I will say he has one of the better NASCAR podcasts out there since like DBC has kind of gone to trash. So he has a pretty good podcast, but I don't know, for anybody else out there listening to this that is an active listener of his podcast, it was probably like 2 months ago when his co-host brought up the potential of Chase Elliott missing the playoffs, and Denny just kind of pretty much called him an idiot. I mean, I will never forget.
He was real confident about that.
Yeah, when he goes, newsflash, Chase Elliott's good at road courses. Oh my God, I love how wrong he was. because the whole time I was listening to that episode, in the back of my head, I was like, dude, you're talking about 2019 Chase Elliott. You're talking about 2020 Chase Elliott. You're not talking about 2023 Chase Elliott, because if you were, you would be honest with yourself and say he's not the same driver that he has been. I'm not saying he's terrible. Look, Bubba Wallace only got into the playoffs because Chase Elliott got injured. Let's be honest. So he's not the worst, but he's not the same driver he was.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
anytime Denny Hamlin's wrong, an angel grows his wings. So,
Yeah. On the flip side of that, I like Denny Hamlin. A lot of people hate him. I don't know why people dislike Denny Hamlin the way they do.
Because he's an asshole?
No, well, I mean, you kind of every driver out there is a little bit of a prick when you want to come down to it. So,
and he's not as much of an asshole as like Kevin Harvick.
Well, Kevin Harvick's earned that spot. After almost over 20 years of racing. And
I mean, Denny Hamlin should have earned it though too, right? He's a vet at this point.
He doesn't have a championship, so
he's a bridesmaid.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like if we're gonna give Kevin Harvick a pass for always being an asshole, like if anybody, Matt, I know you've been down on pit, like when drivers are coming by and you can say hi to them. Anybody that's ever been down there can tell you, like, Kevin Harvick is the one driver that will never turn and smile and wave at anybody. Like, a diehard fan will be like, we love you, and he will just stare at them with daggers. He's an asshole. He always has been. And he gets a pass, but Denny, kind of the, less of an asshole, but does not get a pass ever.
Well, I'm going to take a page out of what I saw on a Netflix documentary called Full Swing. I don't know if you guys have seen it, if you're golf fans. But there was this player playing with Tiger Woods, and he was asking him about his family, and Tiger Woods was just like, yeah, they're good. But Tiger Woods was so focused. And I think elite athlete, it's like at that level that Kevin Harvick is and stuff, are just so in the moment and getting ready for the race that he's so focused. Like he's just blocking everything out. I mean, that's
Matt, just let me believe that he's an asshole all the time.
Okay.
You let me have that one.
You can have this is last season. I dare say, I'm
backing you up with Denny, man. Let me call Kevin Harvick an asshole.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I do that sometimes.
Oh no, look, my co-host, he's a diehard. Anybody that doesn't know Dakota, just absolute diehard. So I do love always messing with Kevin Harvick as much as possible.
That always makes it fun. Like with Caleb here, now that I know he's a Chase Elliott fan.
I'm not a Chase Elliott fan. That's not my number one. My number one's on the t-shirt.
Bowman fan.
Okay, let me broaden the scope here. A Hendrick.
I was going to say, you're not helping your case, dude. You're not helping your case. No. Clearly,
listen, I've still got a lot to figure out under year one, but I know the drivers that I do like, and I know the drivers that I can't stand.
So this is your first year of watching NASCAR.
Yeah, like
he's a rookie.
Back. Like when I was a kid, I loved Jeff Gordon.
The Chase Elliott thing makes so much more sense now, by the way.
my professor actually got me into
Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott thing. I'm like, okay, got it. He's also a Bubba fan, I'm sure.
No,
I don't hate Bubba. He's not my favorite guy. I love okay with him. So
he's clearly a rookie.
if I may just dive into the background of my fandom for a second.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
My professor, he's a huge NASCAR fan. Like it's his number one sport, top down, no problem. And he's my professor.
In college?
Yeah, I'm a senior in college.
Dude, I don't think I've ever met or heard of a college professor that loves NASCAR. That's really cool, though. That's awesome.
Yeah. And he got me into it. I'm just watching the Daytona 500 because I'm like, screw it, he's there. I might as well turn it on. And it was like the most interesting thing that I'd ever seen. I'm like, oh, there's something to this. And I watched it. And I'm looking through lists of drivers that drive for Hendrick because I was a huge Jeff Gordon fan as a kid. And he said, go check out Alex Bowman. And I did. I thought he was hilarious and somebody I wanted to pull for. So I got the t-shirt. This was just a free hat.
Okay.
You can get those at all the Napa stores. But, we ventured off on a Hendricks a little bit here. We got to get back on path, boys. I kind of did set Caleb up bringing Matt and Rattlesnake on and, throwing him to the wolves with two of my more opinionated guys here that I know. But let's talk Daytona. How did you guys feel about the race? Did it live up to expectations being the playoff season finale or the regular season finale? Sorry.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it? I felt a little underwhelmed with it, honestly, until the end.
Okay,
but I mean, I feel like that's restrictor plate racing.
That's an interesting take because I feel the complete opposite. I love this race from start to finish. It might be the best race of the year for me. You'll have to wait until my episode tomorrow. Check that out. I'll give it a race rating with my co-host Dakota as well. I loved that race, like from start to finish. It was awesome. It was up there with Fontana and the Coke 600. Yes, that's going to go down as definitely a top 5 for me this season.
Okay, I felt, personally myself, like I said, I felt like it maybe lacked the intensity early, in my opinion, again. But as it got on, I liked it a lot more. I was more intrigued with it myself, but that's just me.
All right, Matt, Caleb, what do y'all think?
Yeah.
Caleb, you want to go first?
Sure. I don't want to say I was underwhelmed. I thought it was really entertaining from start to finish. But there were some things that like I wish that I got to see more of, like that intense battle that Chase had at the front. I wish I had seen that for a couple more laps before Ryan Preece had to crash. It wasn't as many cautions as I thought there was going to be. Like, it wasn't as chaotic as I thought it would be as far as the yellows go and pit strategies. It was a pretty clean race through and through.
Although there was one very chaotic.
Yeah, there was
a couple.
Just as a whole, the two cautions were chaotic. I mean, the big one happened in stage 1, right? I mean,
right there at
no, that was
was it stage 2?
It was towards the end. No, it was towards the end of stage 1 because they were racing like crazy afterwards, right? If I remember right.
Which wreck are we referring to? Are we talking about Ty Gibbs into Ryan Blaney?
Yeah.
Was that stage 1? I thought that was stage 2 for some reason. Okay.
That was at the end.
No, I'm pretty sure it was stage 2. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but again, I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay, all right. It's 2 versus 2.
Okay, it was my point was it was very early on in the race, and that happened, and then everybody kind of got to reset. I know that it was huge. A lot of cars got taken out in that and got pushed back a couple laps. So maybe that took away a lot of the momentum and like guys racing as hard as they could be because screw it, we're gone. Like Kyle Larson down like 3 laps. And then obviously the Preece wreck kind of threw a curveball into the whole thing. But overall as a race, I thought it wasn't as good as the 500 was in the spring, but I thought it was still like all right. I don't know if I'd go as far as say my top 5 favorite races of the year. But it wasn't certainly one that I didn't like Watkins Glen last week, which I thought was really, really boring. Or
yeah, that was rough, dude.
There was a couple other ones that I'm probably forgetting, but I text Chris every week during this race. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That is funny that you said that you thought it was better than the 500 because I was
no. I said it wasn't better than the 500.
Sorry, that's what I meant. That you liked the 500 better than this one. I was at the 500 and I actually liked this race better. So that is really
let me ask
strange.
you this, Rattlesnake. Does that play into the like being on scene, like different experiences, different viewpoints, I guess you could say
usually that should bump it up if you're there. Like when I'm at the 500, I'm like, that was the best race ever. And then I text my buddies not there and they're like, I mean, it was okay. Like like when I go to Atlanta.
What'd you guys think of the New Hampshire race? I was at that one. I thought it was like in person. I thought it was the coolest thing ever outside of like.
Oh no, New Hampshire! I thought was like middle of the pack, like not bad, not terrible, but just middle. Literally, I think I have it ranked. I have all my races the whole year ranked. I think it's literally right in the middle. Like it is the middle race for me.
It is the standard, yeah.
Yeah. If you're better than that, you're good. If you're worse than that, you're bad. Yeah.
All right. Well, Matt, we've all talked about Daytona and we've ran our mouth for a little bit. Why not hear what you got to say?
The Cup race was exciting, and for everybody's information, the big one happened on lap 96 coming to that stage. And so right there at the end, like stage 2 right there, got it up on J-Ski. Yeah, the Cup race was great because for once, I mean, stage 1 was slow building. I mean, we saw cars migrate up to the top, single file. But then when stage 2 started, we saw 3x3 racing down the field. It looked like old school, early 2000s Daytona, 3x3 through the field, like the old school restrictor plate racings were when they had that little fin on top of the roof right there for the Winston Cup cars, which was a lot of fun to see. at the edge of your seat action, and then the big one happened. Ryan Blaney taking that big hit. I mean, thank goodness he's okay. Thank God. Because that wall flex, the safety barrier did its job. The car tomorrow, the Gen 7 car, I'm happy that it did its job. I'm happy the NASCAR made the changes, because had that been a year ago, who knows what we would have seen with Ryan Blaney right there. But the whole race was a great race to watch, edge of your seat action. And I actually have in my notes here stuff about the Xfinity race. I wish it was the cutoff for the Xfinity season race, or the regular season for the Xfinity series as well, because I think that would have brought much more excitement instead of them having it at the Bristol Motor Speedway coming up here in the next couple of weeks. I feel like that would have been a good race to finish off the Xfinity series season. But overall, it was just a great weekend of racing for not only NASCAR, Formula One as well. Well, Formula One was a typical Verstappen show if you're a big Formula One fan, but
I don't watch it.
The Cup Series delivered right there, and they delivered great, and I have no complaints when it comes to that.
Brother. Amen. If y'all are interested, I do have my list pulled up. So here's my top 5, just to give you a reference. I'm saying this one's probably going to be in the top 5. Number 1 was Kansas. Kansas won.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right there with you.
Love that. I always loved that race when I lived in Texas.
As much as Denny Hamlin winning really.
It's just a great race. Yeah. Also, it's a great race to attend for anybody that hasn't been there and maybe has the chance in the future. It's awesome. You can watch it from a casino. I mean, it's badass. Number 2 was the Coke 600. Number 3 was Fontana. Number 4 was Atlanta 2, which I was at. I should preface. And then number 5 is Nashville. So I'm guessing this one's going to bump at least one of those out. That's how much I like this.
I think what really sucks about Atlanta 2 was that it got rained out in stage 3 when it looked like that was going to be really competitive at the end. I don't disagree. That race was really fun to watch.
But also the potential of the rain coming in all day, I think might have actually made it more exciting.
Yeah, they definitely went into that race a lot more with more intensity to begin with, knowing that weather was coming. So I think that played a huge role.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, let me ask you this. What did we think about that wreck with Ryan Preece? I feel like that was the worst wreck. I mean, besides Ryan Newman's that I've seen recently at Daytona a couple years ago, that's probably the worst wreck I've seen in a good 5-10 year span. Besides Austin Dillon's at Daytona before that.
That's what I was going to mention. It reminded me of the Austin Dillon wreck. That's how bad it was.
Well, of the Elliott Sadler wreck in 2003 at Talladega. If you guys remember that race, EA Sports 500 there at Talladega, where it was just a single car.
I was like 1, so.
Oh, okay, well, stupid, because it's there on YouTube. 2003 EA Sports 500. I remember watching that as a senior in high school at that point, and it was the same type of single car flip, but this one was different in the sense it looked like Rusty Wallace circa early 90s, late 80s Talladega Daytona.
Wow.
I say Talladega. That old school Talladega with the grass there. Yeah, that was a bad wreck, and I don't blame them for putting him on the stretcher. Hey, you had a nasty looking wreck. Get on the stretcher. Let's check you out, because if anything's shifting in there, the adrenaline's thumping. I'm fine. Nah, buddy, lay down. The track workers did a great job. That car.
They tell you to do that even just in a regular accident on the road. They tell you shouldn't get up and walk around too much because your adrenaline might be
overpowering
your pain sensors and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that firsthand as a firefighter, and hey man, I'm fine. It's like, nah, man, you might want to get checked out. And 5 minutes later, come back like, I'm hurting, and be like, yeah, I remember. Yeah. But the track workers did good. The car held up well. And that was a scary looking crash, but them slowing it down intensified it. I felt,
it was just and I don't know. See, my thing too with it is, there were a lot of people I agree that grass needs to be taken off those tracks just for safety purposes of the cars and stuff. But I don't feel like the grass played a bigger role into that. I feel like it was just a bad spot where he hit the pavement grass transition, allowing that air to just get under the car almost. But
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like Ryan Newman's wreck. The grass was like the reason that it happened. This one wasn't as bad as that in terms of the grass having an effect on the wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't necessarily want to. I don't think that you can just instantly throw that on the grass, because I did see some things on Twitter right after that, other than, obviously people being concerned for Ryan's safety. But, they were like, oh, what if we need to ban grass on all racetracks? Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you, bud. But at the same time, I don't think I had the time nor the place.
I think that's fair.
Isn't it Charlotte?
I'm curious.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I want to bring up this point here with the grass. At Charlotte, they have AstroTurf in the infield.
Yep.
That's what I've always heard as well, yeah.
And a year ago, Chris Buescher hit a drain and flipped.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you take away grass or not. If the situations in this planets align, that car is going to flip. It's just physics.
Yeah.
And taking away every variable, you can't take away every variable. The only way you can take away every variable is don't let these cars on the track. The only way you can.
Hey, there's some people I've seen that keep kind of going down that rabbit hole. I saw somebody on Twitter saying that should we just stop racing at super speedways? And I'm just like, what are we even doing? What are we doing at this point? If that's really the conversation we want to have?
Yeah, let's stop racing in New Hampshire. Adam Petty race, was killed there. Irwin Jr. was killed there. Tony Roper.
If you're going to start doing taking tracks away because of safety, you might as well just stop racing altogether. I feel like. I mean, that's a hot take, but
no, we should be concerned about safety. Obviously, we don't want to see any of these guys get injured or die. But I mean, let's be honest. The fact that it's entertaining is the potential that it could happen.
Right.
Yep. It's like that really adds the entertainment. I can watch turtles go around a track and do the exact same thing, but it's not entertaining.
Right.
Exactly.
It's kind of like open wheel cars. IndyCar at Pocono Raceway was so much fun to watch. I was at that race where Justin Wilson was killed there at Pocono.
Oh wow.
The whole time it was just wreck fest. It was survival of the fittest. But you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. These cars going 250 miles an hour past you. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And you really are drawn into it. And they took it away from there with a recent accident where I forget the driver's name who got paralyzed. But yeah, I mean, it is dangerous. And the only way you can minimize the danger is not to race.
Exactly. Well, let me ask this, Caleb, you're a relatively new fan. Obviously, we've discussed that.
You could say that,
yeah. So this was, I guess you could say, probably the big magnitude wreck you've seen first time. What was it like for you as a first new fan seeing something that violent? Because I've seen it before. I know these guys have seen it before, but I want to know, how'd you feel seeing something like that?
When I was watching that and he barrel rolled like 10 times and he didn't get out of the car, I'm like, he's fucking dead. And
that's when you're a real NASCAR fan. When you've seen a wreck and you, in the back of your head, you're like, oh shit, he might be dead.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've been watching NASCAR. Because that happens to every single fan at some point.
And I'm texting my buddies like, I don't know if he's gonna get out. I haven't seen him get out yet. What the fuck? This is insane. And then I see that he gets up and he's going on the stretch. I'm oh, thank God.
Unfortunately, for a lot of NASCAR fans, it has been true. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Rattlesnake, were you at the Daytona 500 2020 when Newman wrecked?
No, I wasn't. Actually, the first Daytona 500 I went to was last year's. So I've only been to two. I went to last year, this year's.
I mean, to Caleb's point, nobody left the grandstands when Newman wrecked until the ambulance passed by. Everybody stayed there. Once the ambulance passed by, we went away, and that's all everybody talked about. It's like, he's dead. There's no way.
Oof.
Yeah, I actually had a buddy text me and be like, it's funny because we were talking about that, the fact that nobody had been severely injured or hurt in a NASCAR accident in so long. We were just bragging about the safety, and then Ryan Newman's wreck happened. Texted me and was like, may have spoke a bit too soon. So, I mean, it's definitely, story, like you said.
Yeah, crazy story. I mean, I hate to go off on a rabbit hole. I know this isn't my show, but it was crazy. That Justin Wilson wreck there at Indy, during driver intros, he was introduced to Justin Wilson, and my wife turned to me and said, I knew a Justin Wilson he died. I said, that's not funny. I don't know why she said that. I don't know what brought that on, but she just looked at me like, oh, I knew Justin Wilson and he died. And it's like, oh my God. And then he died. And it's like, what the
wow. Nutsy.
It gave me
That's
chills.
some Final Destination shit.
Yeah, it is. Holy moly.
You better watch out, man.
Yeah, if she says you better not go to work today, it's like I might just call in sick.
Yeah, you might need to call in sick.
All right, guys. Well, we've talked about Daytona enough. We're gonna take a brief break here just to give one of our sponsors a little bit of airtime here. They've been nice enough to let us put on a show like this, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk playoffs. I want to break down each round with you guys. See who you've got making it from round to round. We don't necessarily have to predict the winners because we know how that's going to be, but I want to talk eliminations, and then ultimately at the end of this, I want to see who you got winning the championship. So we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
SeatGeek.
All right, everyone, we're back. Well, I want to talk, like I said before the break, talk about the playoffs. We've got, for all the new fans out there, let's go ahead and do a quick explanation because my wife and me, we do have a podcast where we're trying to reach out to new fans. So we're going to start out with the round of 16. The round of 16 consists of Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. After that, I think we go down to a round of 12, so we're going to lose 4 guys. And then it'll be Texas, Talladega, and the Roval at Charlotte. After that, we go to Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. And from there, we're going to Phoenix with our final 4 who are going to contend for a championship. Let's go round by round. Let's start with the round of 16. I'm going to start with Rattlesnake.
Well, I got a quick question first before Rattlesnake starts, and this is a quick debate here, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Rattlesnake and myself. What do you guys think of the playoffs personally?
Personally, I do not mind the playoffs. It adds something to NASCAR, throughout for the later in the season. I actually, if we're going to have playoffs, I love the win and you're in model. I know a lot of people hate that. I actually do love that. Yeah, honestly, I don't have any problem with it. I'm totally okay with it. It adds something extra.
I'm kind of with you on that, Rattlesnake. My dad, he's an older school NASCAR fan traditionalist, and even he's kind of on it. He has the same opinion as me. He kind of likes the added effect, the pressure it builds within the sport, and it kind of gives you a little more of a storyline sometimes too.
The only thing I would like to add to it, and it's really not adding to the playoffs at all, actually. It's kind of like in college basketball, how there's a regular season champion. I think they need to promote that more, like make that more of a thing as a regular season champion, as well as the playoff champion to win the whole season. That would be the only thing I'd add.
Yeah, give you a little more recognition to your regular season champion other than just like a trophy and 15 playoff points. I guess.
Exactly. Like kind of, like make a whole kind of, and you can wrap it up at Daytona and make it more of a spectacle. I don't know.
Caleb only knows playoffs though, Matt. This is his first year. So.
I mean, I personally feel like the playoffs came into the picture because Matt Kenseth ran away with the championship in 2003 under the Winston Cup format.
Yeah, man, that 2003 season was Ryan Newman with the 8 wins. I mean, that changed everything. It really did.
Kenseth was so consistent throughout that season that he secured it beautifully. I mean, just beautifully. And I like that. I don't mind the playoffs. I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change it. I mean, NASCAR isn't be saying, "Hey, you want to get rid of him or keep him?" If it was up to me, if I was president for the day, like drop it. You race consistently throughout the season, and you earn that championship. But I mean, at the same time, I'm with you guys. I'm so torn with this one because it does add that sense of consistency still matters. But the winning you're in, it's like, well, it takes pressure off. I mean, I could go down the tangent.
Well, and I think the winning you're in adds some excitement. So I know some people hate if, like, okay, for instance, last year Austin Dillon winning at Daytona, the cutoff, and everybody's like, oh, he didn't earn that spot. Who did he take it from? Does anybody remember?
No, I don't think he took it from anybody.
That's the thing. Like, I look, the winning you're in really only matters the last minute, and it's going to be, Michael McDowell at somebody with the Daytona 500. But the guy that they're kicking out is never going to be like some contender anyway. Let's be honest. He's a guy that's probably going to get knocked out in the round of 16. He only got in based on points. Like, who cares?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is what it is when it comes to that.
There's my co-host right there. What up, Dakota?
Oh, man, I'm out of beer.
Caleb, I guess you don't really know anything other than playoffs, right? So this argument.
Yeah, I don't even know the playoffs that we have now confidently. I had to do some research before I came up with my notes for today. So
okay, cool. Chris, take it away.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start. I want to start with the round of 16. I want to start with you, Rattlesnake. I want to see, obviously, predicting winners with this next-gen car has been hit or miss. I feel like it's been a little easier this year because teams have had more experience with it. But regardless, I want to know who you've got making it or who you've got getting eliminated first.
Okay, I was 16. Like, I don't want to list 16. I'm just going to list 4 instead, if that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to tell y'all who I think is going to win it. You're going to have to watch Chairgating tomorrow night.
I'm good with that.
I know I'm saying that to try to like add anticipation to watch my show, but in all honesty, I haven't done enough research yet. I was planning on doing all of this tomorrow for my show, but I think I could probably tell you who the first 4 out are going to be. Man. Okay. So Bubba Wallace, get out of here. You barely made it anyway. Man, I say that like with confidence that I can tell you the first 4 out, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, shit, I don't know if I can because, Ryan Blaney has not looked like Ryan Blaney at all. I want to say, okay, Bubba Wallace, I'm going to throw out Blaney in there. I'm going to put Ricky in there. That's 3. And shoot, I'm gonna go. Oh man, I don't want to take out Michael McDowell, so I'm gonna say Brad K. There you go.
Really?
That's 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Taking Brad out. That one's a little bit of a stretch for me.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Caleb?
All right. So the first 4 out for me, I agree that Bubba Wallace, as much as I'd love to see him make a run and make a handful of people mad. Can't really see it. Stenhouse, obviously, he hasn't really done anything since winning the Daytona 500. Thank you, Katie, for your support. I really appreciate that.
Hey, McDowell love, shout out.
Stenhouse, I don't think he's sticking around for very long. And then this is where, as Rattlesnake kind of put it, gets a little interesting. You have some tough choices to make, but I made them. I agreed with taking out the 12. Ryan Blaney hasn't really been the same. And instead of Brad K, I put Harvick in here.
Oh.
I'm not super confident in him late season. I haven't really noticed him like I've noticed Keselowski kind of step it up. And Michael McDowell is obviously a really feel-good story. You could mention any 3 of those guys, and I don't think I'd have a hard time with debating you on it. Like, I could go either way, but give me Harvick getting the early bounce in his last season.
Yeah, not a lot of Ford confidence, huh?
No, I don't.
Never has been.
I'm kind of with you guys on that.
The only confident Ford in the field I feel is Buescher.
I agree.
Man,
now.
I love Buescher right now.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Now, yeah.
Now, I think Rattlesnake hacked into my computer and took my notes here because I have a matching list for the first round of elimination, except I did put in McDowell. McDowell did great at the Indy Road Course. Unfortunately, Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol, not a strong suit for McDowell. So with the exception of what Rattlesnake said, Keselowski.
Yeah, Brad K.
I put in McDowell, so I got Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, and Ryan Blaney. I mean, I agree with you, Rattlesnake. Ryan Blaney just hasn't been looking like Ryan Blaney, but really at the same time, he's a high C, low B driver from the get-go, from the out of the gate, regardless.
Thank you. Let's stop pretending that he's like the next Kyle Larson or something. I mean, I know that's died down a lot, but you know, I'm sure y'all remember like 2 or 3 years ago that was the conversation.
Yeah,
Caleb doesn't, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you guys mostly, but I actually have a little bit of a wild card I'm throwing out on the first round. So I went Stenhouse. I'm actually going to throw out McDowell. I like that he got in. I did like the story, but again, I just don't see him being strong at Darlington or Bristol. Not strong enough, at least. Kansas is a wild card. They've had speed on the intermediate tracks, but
I mean, he just won recently. He's still hot. It's not like he won the 500 and hasn't done shit all season.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Sure. But I'm going to throw him out. I just don't think that they're going to be able to compete with some of the bigger teams as much as I hate to say it. And then I've got Stenhouse, McDowell. My dad would kill me because he's a huge Harvick fan as well, but I'm throwing Harvick out. He's fell off, in my opinion. I haven't seen him as much the last few weeks, and I'm losing a little bit of confidence in Harvick, kind of like you guys are with Blaney. But here's where my wrench comes in. I'm throwing out Chastain first round. Surprise!
I love it.
Pick.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I mean, Trackhouse has their ups and downs, and they're trending up. Are they championship caliber team? Not yet. Give it a couple more years.
Yeah, but after the year they had last year, I was expecting a little more. Maybe that, I should give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. But they came and just showed out last season. I was expecting a little more wins, more competition, I guess.
What's Ross done lately? Like, what's been his numbers in the last month or so?
They've not been solid. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he won Michigan or not Michigan, Nashville.
He won. No, he wasn't. Yeah, he won the Allied 400 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yep. So won at Nashville, and then he had speed at Michigan. But again, Kansas kind of plays into the factor there. Kansas, I feel like, is my wild card this round, only because it is an intermediate track. Anything, I feel like if the right team brings the right car with the speed in it, can show up and show out. It could be Bubba Wallace for all we know. That's the thing that gets me with this round is Kansas. I like Darlington and Bristol for short tracks. That makes it real simple for me who I eliminate. Harvick could possibly surprise you at Bristol, though. He's decent at Bristol.
He's won with both tracks, Darlington and Bristol, so.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm going Chastain.
I mean, didn't Ross get a top 5 at Kansas this year?
Yeah, he's been decent at the intermediate tracks like Nashville, Kansas, Michigan even. He's been good at. It's just the short tracks. I just don't feel confident in his speed this year. Their handling, even whatever it is, they've seemed to be a little off to me.
Yeah, but Chastain showed some muscle during the Goodyear 400 there Mother's Day weekend at Darlington. Granted, it's 100 miles more, and he took himself out of that race. But Chastain, I think, is aggressive enough, and that track, Darlington, suits him. In fact, I have him winning at Darlington.
Okay.
Didn't he win at Darlington last year?
No.
I thought
last
I saw
year
that.
Was Eric Jones for the Southern 500.
Yeah, it was Eric Jones.
Yep.
Okay.
Eric Jones. Yeah, because then
Denny.
Denny the year before, I believe.
No, Denny got he was running up there too last year. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of strong cars there, but I'm with you guys.
It's hard once you can kind of solidly with that first round. I feel like you can go with 3 drivers. Maybe we could offer a majority of people would go with 3 solid drivers, and maybe McDowell, Stenhouse, and Wallace would probably be a majority.
Yeah,
a lot of people are going to throw them out, but after that, it's hard. It gets real difficult to pick to pick a 4th driver.
I went back and forth in round 2 and 3.
Yeah. All right, well let's get on to the round of 12 at Texas, Talladega, and the Roval. Rattlesnake, I'm gonna start with you again. Who do you got gone after this round?
You know what? Come to me last. I have not prepared for this episode, so I don't have any notes. I'm literally just like looking at the standings and just picking names.
All right. Well, let's go with the rookie. Let's go, Caleb. Let's see who you got.
All right. So my round of 12 eliminations. This is where I throw in Ross Chastain. I just think he's kind of a wild card. I think in those last two races at Darlington and Bristol to kind of do something crazy like he did at Martinsville last year.
Good.
Like it's not the same thing because obviously he can't do the wall ride anymore. But just that similar level of that was kind of insane. So that's why I kind of gave Chastain the benefit of the doubt, but I don't see him making it farther than that. His car just hasn't been great this year. We'll throw out Mikey in the round of 12. I think Mikey McDowell, I think making the round of 12 was a great season for him. And it's kind of where it ends. Then that's where I'll throw out Brad Keselowski in the 6. If you're being considered for me to drop you in the round of 16, I don't think you're going to make it out of the round of 12. It's kind of just how I set it up. But Keselowski could go deeper than that. He's had speed late in the year along with his teammate. Wouldn't shock me at all if he makes it out of this round, but because I was considering him for the round of 16, he's not a strong candidate for the round of 8 either. And then my last one, last year's champion, Joey Logano. I threw in, had a couple different names in my head, but Logano is ultimately the one that I picked. It's been a really kind of up and down year. I haven't loved what he's had in recent weeks. And yeah, those are my 4, 22, 6, 1, and 34.
All right. Well, let's see here, Matt. What about you? Who do you got going out?
Now, unlike the round of 16, where Chris pointed out that has 1 wild card, I feel like this round has 2 wild cards with Talladega and the Roval.
Yes.
2 very fun races to go to. Roval, I think more so than Talladega, because Talladega is just a carbon copy of Daytona. Another episode for another topic for another day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I would disagree with you to my grave on that one. And I am not a fan of the Roval at all. So we would have a fun conversation.
We would have. We need to have you on the show here at the end of the year to talk about that, or maybe next year. But the eliminations I have here for this round, I'm going to go. RFK is not making it out of this round. That's Keselowski and Buescher both out unless they both out right there. Christopher Bell eliminated, and Tyler Reddick.
Damn.
Okay, you're taking out some big names there. Bell,
that's a heavy hit.
That is a heavy hit. Yeah. And like we talked about just like maybe 30, 45 seconds ago, the more these rounds go down, it's like who is not showing their muscles? Who's not flexing their muscles? Now, one could argue, why isn't Harvick in there? Why isn't Harvick in the round of 16 for me? I still feel like he has something to show and something to prove, but maybe the round of 16 knocks him out. I mean, I feel like after the first round, my bracket's going to be all messed up. There's no way I'm going to get the perfect bracket. But those are the ones that I feel like after the round of 12, those guys, but maybe they'll surprise me.
Okay, let me ask you this, Matt. I'm curious, why Bell and Reddick? Because I have Reddick myself in this round being eliminated. But my reasoning behind it is I feel like his crew is going to shoot him in the foot. I feel like they're going to get down there and his pit crew
they've done it.
Shot him in the foot multiple times this season, and the pressure is going to be too much to mount for him. So I'm curious, why did you go with Reddick and Bell there?
Well, Bell, I mean, kind of like Ryan Blaney. What has he shown throughout the season except maybe a win?
Yeah.
I mean, he's shown that he's been up there, of course, taking out Ty Gibbs, and then Ryan Blaney at the same time was not a strong point on him being on their radar, being noticed. But at the same time, Christopher Bell, I just feel like he's getting better.
Right.
But he's not there yet. Tyler Reddick, getting better. He's not there yet. I don't know. And I'm a big Keselowski fan, but I mean, all he's done is push Buescher to the win every time. I've never seen him once go out, and I get it. It's for the team. I feel like Denny Hamlin would have done the same thing to Bubba Wallace. It's just for the team instead of going for the win himself. But RFK is getting better. They're not there yet. Bell's getting better, not there yet. Reddick's getting better, not there yet. Of course, Reddick's a big road course racer. He could win the Roval, dominate the Roval, and do well on that. And anybody could win at Talladega. It doesn't have to be a playoff driver. It could be Daniel Suarez winning at Talladega or the Roval. So, it's not necessarily AJ Allmendinger. He's very good at both play tracks and road courses. But to me, those guys just haven't. They're on the radar, but they're not in the center of the radar.
Okay, you went. I feel like you went big there, but I can understand it because I'm kind of the same way. I have in this round now. I went back and forth between Blaney and Logano because I'm kind of with you guys. Blaney's been off since the 600. He hasn't really showed me much. He showed good performance then, but after that, it's kind of just been like, oh, it's Ryan Blaney. There he is. He's decent, or he's either wrecked out. That's kind of how I felt about Ryan. But I don't know. This round again with Talladega, he's good at Talladega. He's won this fall Talladega race before. So I definitely think.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for saying that thing about Denny. I've been saying it the whole time.
I think that Blaney's going to show up a little bit, maybe even at Talladega. I think he could stick around. He does know how to win there. So I went Logano, Reddick, Keselowski, and Wallace this round. So Logano again, up and down season.
Well, you had Bubba Wallace. You had Bubba Wallace making it past the first.
I do, but I think it's just going to be based off of the Kansas. If he can perform well at Kansas, I think he can go into Bristol and point his way into the next round.
At Kansas?
Yeah, like if he can win Kansas, I think he's going to the next round, which he has won before, and that team can win at Kansas. So, I mean, it's not unlikely. Again, though, it's after you get 3 or 4 drivers in each round, kind of hard to start choosing. But Keselowski, again, I'm with you on that, Matt. I think RFK's getting better. I think he easily could win this. He could win in this round easily. I mean, he could win at Talladega and shock people. He's a good plate racer.
Very good plate racer.
I do see, and then again, I touched on Reddick. I think his team's going to shoot him in the foot, as much as I hate to say that, because I actually like Tyler Reddick. I think he's got a ton of potential. He's a great driver. I just think his pit crew or something is going to come along and it's going to wind up biting him, whether it be a pit road penalty or something that round. It's going to kill his round of 12. So, but that's just me. Now, Rattlesnake, we gave you some time, so let's see. Who do you got?
Yeah. Okay. So the last round, I took out Bubba, Ricky. Who else did I take out? I took out.
You might have took out Mikey,
Brad K, and I took out Ryan Blaney.
There you go. Yep.
Those are my 4 last time. Okay, so now I'm taking out Harvick. Sorry, dog. I kept you in as long as I possibly could, but there's no way. Michael McDowell, same to you, homie. Love you, but you gotta go. Let's see, who else do I? Obviously, Reddick gots to go, and then I'm gonna go Bell actually as well. I like that pick. Okay. I know he's been consistent, but I just think, I mean, I can't take Joey Logano out that early. Like, I know he has not been the same driver this season, but it's Joey Logano. Like, I know that people haven't seen him for a while, but he did the same thing when he won the championship last year. He got real silent towards like right kind of before the playoffs, and then he just went off. It's Joey Logano. Don't count the guy out. So cannot do it to him yet.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I think Dale Jr. said it best about Joey Logano. I was listening to something a few weeks ago. He said Joey's one of those drivers that he will literally get you what you can get out of the car. He's gonna if it's a winning car, it's gonna win. If it's a top 15 car, he'll get you a top 15. He's a good driver and he knows how to get what he can get out of his equipment. So I can see that. I struggled with putting. He's a
dude I never bet against. I'll tell you that. And I will say this: last year, this exact same time last year, I did pick Joey Logano to win the championship purely for that reason. That he's just, when it comes down to it, if he makes it to the Final Four and, you know, he's battling for the lead, I can guarantee you he will put Martin Truex Jr. in the damn wall to win the thing. And I don't know, you know, there's not a whole lot of drivers that will do it except Joey Logano. So, yeah, there's my 4. I'm keeping Logano.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to move on to the round of 8 here. We've got the round of 8 is going to consist of Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. So 2 bigger tracks, and then we're going to end it, with a short track before we decide a champion. So let's start with Matt on this one. Who do you got this round eliminated? And who do you got as your final 4, I guess?
I have eliminated this round Logano, Harvick, Chastain, and Larson.
Oh.
Which leaves me Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. to race for a championship at Phoenix.
Sorry, Rattlesnake. I gotta disagree with Kyle on that one, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Well, I'm Matt. So.
Yeah. Different
well, anyway, my bad. Anyway,
I was like, what are you apologizing to me? I haven't said anything.
Guy. He's my RCR guy. He's Austin Dillon and Richard Childress Racing. So, but
that's right.
Okay. I mean, it gets hard once you get down to the round of 8.
But the cream, I feel like at that round of 8 rises to the top, and the 4 drivers who have been most consistent, that being Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Martin Truex Jr. will be there at Phoenix, I feel.
Okay. All right. Well, Caleb, let's see. Who do you have?
All right. So I got Reddick coming out of this one. He's getting bounced. I left him in as long as I could. I could see him coming out in the round of 12 too.
I'm surprised you still have Reddick. Damn, I forgot about him.
He's a solid racer. Chris Buescher, his run ends here. I think he could go into the championship 4 and keep riding that momentum, but the safe bet says no. And then this is where it got really tough for me to cut out because I love both these drivers that I'm about to cut. Christopher Bell, can't see you making that late run into the championship 4 like he did last year, but I'm not saying that I couldn't see it, but I'm not gonna say it. He performed pretty well at these tracks last year, obviously, but it's not a smart pick as much as I would love to see it. And then it comes down to the 8 and the 11 here, and I said the 8 was going to get bounced. It's been kind of a slow kind of end to Kyle Busch's season here. I could see it turn around, and he did finally get that top 10 that he's been itching for in Daytona, but Daytona's kind of a shit fest. How much stock can you put into that top 10? So yeah, I could see Kyle Busch going all the way to the championship 4 and even winning the thing, but my gut says it's not a smart bet. So in my championship 4, I got the vein of my existence, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, and William Byron.
Good picks. Solid picks.
All right, yeah, solid. I think that, like I said, we've touched on it. It gets more and more difficult the farther you go into this thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of the only one that I'm really differenting on with you guys, it seems like, is I'm riding the Buescher hot streak. I'm riding it all the way to the championship.
Somebody had to.
Yep. I kind of like it. I like what I've seen out of him as of late in that team. They're building speed and they're building, better race cars week in and week out. So I'm eliminating Blaney because he could have easily
been out.
You
had Blaney making it this far. Oh my God.
I did. Yeah, I did. It was between him and Logano last round. So, but I'm not a Logano fan myself. I don't hate the guy, but I don't pull for him either. And then I've got Bell. Again, I'm with you guys. He's been consistent, but he's not making it to the final 4. And then this is where it got hard for me again. I took out Larson and Kyle Busch. It's Kyle freaking Larson. I could easily put Kyle freaking Larson in the championship 4, and that could be my reasoning for it. And I don't know that many people would argue with it because that's just the type of driver he is, but I just haven't seen it as of late. They've gotten better, closer to the playoffs, but they've been, again, they're kind of like Logano for me. They're up and down. They either are in the top 5, top 10 competing, or they're 25th to 30th. So my final 4 are going Byron, Truex, Buescher, and Hamlin. I've got one of each, pretty much, manufacturer represented there. But, that's, again, anything can happen in the round of 8. I think there's 2 big tracks there that speed is really going to matter and handling more so than anything. So it could definitely be a completely different Final Four at the end of it. But what about you, Rattlesnake?
I mean, I'll just tell you who I think will be in the top 4. How about that? The Final Four. I don't even remember who I've been kicking out. I'm gonna go. Actually, Matt, who did you have? Did you have Martin Truex Jr.?
Yeah, Truex,
Kyle Busch, William
Kyle,
Byron,
and Hamlin.
And Hamlin. Yeah, that's the exact hit.
That's my Final Four.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, we can look at wins. Obviously, Chris Buescher, I'd love to just keep riding it, but how long does the hot streak last? Will it last all playoffs? I doubt it. It would be cool to watch him, ride a couple rounds. But, if we look at like top 10s, number 1 has been Martin Truex Jr. Number 2 is Kyle Busch. Number 3 is William Byron. Like, that's what you kind of want to look at when we're looking at the start to the playoffs all the way to the end, because those dudes have been consistently gaining points. They each have at least 3 wins, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and then 5 for William Byron. And then, I'm just going to throw Denny into that as well, because he's been really good this year, and he is a vet, and he has the experience. He's been there so many times. I don't think he'll win it ever, but you can count on him at least showing up.
The world's better when Denny Hamlin isn't a champion. So
I agree. I want him to retire not a champion. I'm not going to lie. I know that sounds mean, but it almost adds.
Oh, it's not mean. He's a prick.
Well, it almost adds something to his career. He's like, yeah, but you were never a champion. Like he did everything except he couldn't be a champion. So
3-time Daytona 500 winner, but not a champion. Not a champion. But okay, all right. I mean, I think those are, again, I'm just riding the Buescher hot streak. It's a feel good story that I like, so I'm latching onto it.
I would love for you to be right.
I think it'd be cool to see Buescher ride it all the way to the Final Four in Phoenix. I don't think he obviously this year can contend, but that's just me now. This is where it gets fun. Rattlesnake's obviously not gonna talk with us championship picks. You got to
I can tell you who I'd like to see. I'd like to see Kyle Busch win it.
Okay,
I think that'd be cool.
I'd love to see Kyle Busch win it. He, after last year, what happened, and we weren't sure what was going to happen to him, and now he's at RCR, which obviously I love. I love the new 8 font. Like, he's made it his own. It's been a really cool ride for him this season, and it'd be really cool to see him get another championship. I don't know, man. I just do not hate Kyle Busch like I did when I was, in high school or whatever.
Yeah.
Or college. It's just something about it. He's become much more likable. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a pissed off old man now, like him.
I'm kind of the
so
same
I can relate more or something. But yeah, it would be cool to see him win it.
It'd be super cool, especially after how everything went down last year, like you said. So I'm down with that pick. I'm not against it. Again, but Caleb?
It's funny when you talk to a fan that hasn't watched NASCAR in let's just throw out 10 years, 5 to 10 years. Not like we haven't seen since Dale died, but the past 5 to 10 years when everybody kind of left. It's really funny telling them that I kind of like Kyle Busch now, because they're always like, Kyle Busch, Kyle Busch, he's a whiner, and you're like, yeah, dude, I thought that 10 years ago also. But times change. Sorry, go on, Caleb.
Okay. What I would like to see happen is anybody but Denny.
Yeah, we've got that. we got
anybody. Literally, if there's anything Alex Bowman does in this playoff, I want it to be throwing Denny Hamlin into a wall every race.
Oh my
Any
God.
race possible, just do it. But yeah, I think this is it's really hard. I think any of those 3 can win it everyone needs a little something different. Byron just needs to keep riding that hot season he's had, but he's also had some up and down as well. But you can't ignore 5 wins. It makes him a real contender, and he has such a lead that's going to be hard to knock him out. Kyle Larson, if he can get hot, he's obviously willing to do anything and everything to win that championship. He will put William Byron into a wall, despite him being his teammate, in order to win this title. That's kind of who Kyle Larson is. He drives for Kyle Larson under the Hendrick umbrella. That's what he does. And then obviously Truex, I think top to bottom has just been, I think he might, he's the best driver this year. That's why he has the regular season championship. He's been really damn good. We've given him a good car, and his pit crew stays on their best behavior. There's nobody better. But I think it's Byron. I think it's Byron's championship to lose, but any of those three guys could win it, and they all need something a little different. Kyle Larson just needs to stay out of trouble, which he hasn't, all season, getting into wrecks, and maybe even ones he didn't even cause. And he obviously just needs to stay out of trouble and get back right. But I think ultimately it'll be between Truex and Byron at the end.
All right. Well, Matt, that leaves you and me, man. I'm gonna let you go ahead and pick your driver here to win the championship.
Caleb has, passionate as your speech was, 100% disagree. This is Denny Hamlin's year.
Ooh.
He's lost it so many ways before that.
He'll keep finding new ones because he's a loser.
Hey, I feel like in November we're gonna come back here, recap the season, and Caleb, you're gonna eat your words. Ooh. Denny Hamlin, champion.
No, never, not in a million years.
Absolutely. Denny Hamlin is in this transitional phase in his career. He's got a new team.
Again?
He's got a new team. Hey, he's been with the 11 car since 2006. Same sponsor for the most part up until 2 years ago when he started bringing in different notepad sponsors or whatever, but it's been FedEx. He's been the old school throwback driver that we all want to see. The same car number, same sponsor. This is Denny Hamlin. Love him or hate him, you got to respect him. You can't count him out. Denny Hamlin, 2020.
Look, I don't respect him. But.
Look, Matt, I hate that I have to agree with Caleb here because I don't hate Denny like Caleb does. So totally different reasonings. But I just don't think he's got the dog in him, man. He just can't do it. You have to have the championship mentality, and I don't think Denny's ever had it, unfortunately for him.
Because
and also, I think on top of that, if he was going to win it, it's kind of behind him now. I think he's more focused on running a team. He has two drivers in the playoffs, and he has a podcast and he has a team. I think he's too preoccupied to be a champion, personally.
Tony Stewart.
Yeah, okay.
Driver owner.
You know what's funny is when I was saying it, I was like, shit, I hope he doesn't bring up Tony Stewart.
I mean, all I got to say is Tony Stewart won it as a driver owner. Granted, it was for his own team, not for another team he was racing against. But here's the thing. I mean, like, you love Denny Hamlin, you hate him. He's a consistent driver. He knows how to win at all of these tracks coming up here.
Yep.
You can't count him out. The only, granted, he's lost it so many ways. I remember it was a few years ago where they put the right side tires on the left side, or was that true?
Yeah.
It was something like that. He lost it in the pits. Like, no, they put on too much tape.
The giant piece of tape that was like,
and put it on there, overheated this engine, lost a championship.
Hey, I put him in the Final Four for a reason. I mean, I do think he's quality. He'll be there.
He'll be there.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be so focused this time because now he's in a contract season. Now, I mean, that brings up other topics that we don't have to get into on this particular show. But at the same time, I think Denny Hamlin can do it. But at the same time, so can Truex. So can Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
So who do I have up there? William Byron.
Really be 5 wins, boy.
He's
on fire.
It is tough to pick one driver out of those 4 to win it. Now, granted, 2 out of the 4 have won championships before, and Kyle Busch being a multiple-time champion of. I mean, 2 drivers have been there already, and Denny Hamlin, to his credit and his defense, has been there as well in the Final Four numbers of times.
How many times has he been in the Final Fours, dude? You remember for a couple years there, it was like him, Truex, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick. Just like every year was one of those names.
And this is after
those combinations.
Yeah,
Jimmy Johnson left as well.
It was right after Jimmy Johnson. That's right.
Right, and so I mean, great picks all around, but man, I got to give it to Hamlin. He's doing well. I think he's going to get the monkey off.
I think he's got more of the dog in him than another driver who I just, come my show. I can tell you I will not be picking this guy. I can't pick William Byron. He is very talented. He's having an incredible season. His team is just on fire. good for him. He don't got the dog in him, man. He's just not a champion.
As far as we know.
He's not a champion yet. I can look at him in his eyes and tell the man is not a champion yet. I should say the boy is not a champion yet. He's got so much room to grow and become such an incredible driver, and I think he will be.
Denny is twice his age, and
that's the thing, dude. Willie B is going to be a multi-time champion in his own time. He will. He is going to take over. Like, he is kind of doing what everybody thought Chase Elliott was going to do. I just don't know if it's yet. That's my only concern.
I'm kind of with you on that. That's why it made it hard for me to pick a champion. Because I'm a Hendricks, fanboy, obviously at heart with Chase, because I grew up an Elliott fan. I got the Bill shirt on. I showed you guys that earlier. But my choice is actually going to be Martin Truex.
That's a great comment. Actually, that's awesome.
I love the Monday races here, but I think it's he's been on fire recently this year. I don't know if it was the new relationship, whatever it can be. We can speculate on everything, but they convinced him to come back another year. I think he could easily go in, and if he can make it to the championship forward, because there are some tracks where I know he's not historically the best, but if he makes it to Phoenix, I don't see any reason why Martin Truex can't walk out with his second championship. He's just been that good this year, in my opinion.
It's hard to argue against Martin Truex Jr.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Martin's kind of that toy. Like when Toyota came into the sport, a lot of your loyalists hated Toyota. They didn't want Toyota here. But when Martin kind of moved over there, everybody started moving towards that. They were like, Toyota's not so bad. Martin Truex drives for them. We can pull for Toyota. But all right, solid picks. You got to tune in to Chairgating tomorrow to see Rattlesnake's real pick, not who he'd like to see win.
Honestly, I've been talking myself into the Kyle Busch pick on the show, so it might just end up being Kyle Busch.
Not just
Based
Kyle
on
Busch.
No statistics. It's just, look, if you're a sports bettor, like I'm sure all of us are a little bit, you have to have some heart in it as well. It's not all brains. It's like I'm like the 70-year-old baseball scout for the MLB, where I'm making up scenarios in my head, like why luck has something to do with it. So, yeah, don't listen to me when it comes to betting.
All right, well, I'm going to let everybody. I kind of want to just go around between you guys and give you each a few minutes to kind of just plug your own shows, own content, where everybody can find you before we wrap this thing up for the night. So, Rattlesnake, I'm obviously going to start with you, and what do you got going on? Anything special with Chairgate coming up?
So obviously, tomorrow night we're going to have a show, 9 p.m. Check that out. It will be live on Twitter or X, whatever we call it, and YouTube at Chairgating, CHAIRG. I don't even know how to spell my own podcast. It's live on Chairgating. Figure it out. Figure out how to spell it. This weekend, me and Dakota, my co-host, will be at Darlington. So we'll have plenty of content for everybody. We're not going to go out in the pits this time. Honestly, we're just kind of over the pits. I know that sounds weird, but after you do it enough times, it literally is work. It's not fun. Like, you're down there to work, and races are so much better in the grandstands with a cooler. So we will be shooting content from the grandstands. Hope everybody enjoys it. I know we will. Gonna have a great time. Southern 500 is top 5 race for me.
It's a bucket list race for me. That's within the next year.
It's my birthday race every single year, so I go every single year, and it's Labor Day, so you get the Monday off to
Yep.
I only live an hour and a half from the track, so it is easier for me. But yeah. So
all right, well, Matt, let's see, Matt. I know you're with Rubbin's Racing Podcast.
Rambling about racing.
Formerly known as In the Marbles. Yeah, rambling about racing.
Wait, formerly known as what? What was that?
In the Marbles.
I did not know about that. Okay.
If I may, we rebranded there, and there's my old school logo there by the Matt Kenseth, Fender, and Brad K.
Interesting. Cool.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, so rambling about racing. We do a show in conjunction with Blind Spotting NASCAR podcast. So, for instance, they previewed Daytona. We'll review Daytona and go ahead and preview the Southern 500 coming up, and they'll review the Southern 500. So it's a once every couple of weeks show, because just life got in the way, but we enjoy doing it. You can find us on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Make sure to go sign up and subscribe to that YouTube channel, which hasn't been uploading content lately because of the truck in the background.
Nice.
At the same time, we enjoy doing the show. You can catch us every other week, like I said, on all major podcast platforms, all social media handles, Rambling About Racing. There we are.
Is that a Chevy? What year is this?
That is a 1988 Dodge D100.
1988 Dodge.
1988 Dodge, and it's getting a whole upgraded suspension, brakes.
That's awesome, dude. Where do you live?
I live in Somerville.
Wait, really?
Yeah, man.
Damn, I might need to come down and hang out with you while you work on this truck.
I tell you what, I'll provide the beer. You help me put it together.
Dude, I'm looking at it and it's getting me excited. Just looking.
Yeah, if I may, I mean, like it's on jack stands right now.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
That's sexy.
It's a nice truck, and it just needs some TLC. And I'm trying to
I didn't know you lived that close. All right, well now I'm interested. Okay.
All right.
Are you not going to get Darlington?
No, unfortunately, I'm not going to Darlington this year. My wife and I are going up to the mountains. This will actually be the first time since 2016 I will not go to a race.
Wow. Wait, where in the mountains are you going?
North of Asheville.
Just north of Asheville? Awesome. Yeah, I got family around Asheville. I love going up there.
Yeah, and mountains, man, I haven't been all year. Love to go to the mountains. So
same. That's awesome, dude. All right, cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's Caleb. Anything you've got going on? I know the Patriots are getting ready to start up. You're a Patriots fan. You got
Yep. If you're interested in your Patriots content, I got my Foxborough Beatcast coming out on Thursday. I think we'll have our first episode, or not first episode, episode of the after preseason. But as far as NASCAR content goes, as usual, I got my weekly write-up. I'll be doing a little bit more in-depth on my eliminations and whatnot in a piece this week. And then I'll figure out something to do for my playoff preview pieces, because picking 5 drivers doesn't really make sense anymore. But yeah, look out for that later this week. It's been a hell of a time covering NASCAR for my first season, and really excited to start up a new one next season where my driver actually has a chance.
Hey, you know what, Caleb? Real quick, I was just wondering what have been your favorite races so far this season? Just as a new fan, I'm just curious.
Well, I'm biased to New Hampshire because I went there, and that was my first race. That was a good time. I loved Kansas, like you said.
Okay.
I loved the Coke 600.
Okay.
Just trying to throw out something maybe.
So far, so good. By the way, I'm loving every pick.
It's tough. It's Phoenix was fun. Watching Phoenix and Vegas was cool too. So
but yeah,
cool. My number one favorite was probably Kansas.
Perfect. Okay, I like your answers. I was just trying to kind of get a gauge. I know that some of the new fans love the road course and street course racing a little bit more, and I just
Coda was fun.
I'm with Matt down there.
I love watching Coda, but
no.
Yeah, I'm with Matt. That's why I wanted to ask. I love the Coke 600 in Kansas, and yeah, good picks, Caleb. Love it. Sorry, continue, Chris.
All right. Well, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate you, Rattlesnake, Matt, and Caleb all coming on to talk. If you want to look up me, you can see my Twitter handle for my NASCAR page is right here beside my name, NASCAR for Everyone. That's where I specifically talk and post all of my Belly Up sports articles. I'm going to be releasing a new power rankings this week. And then me and the wife actually started a podcast up recently. Again, kind of like Matt, though, it's kind of been life got in the way, so we haven't been able to post as much as we want. The B&B show, or the Beard and the Babe show. We try to, talk new NASCAR fans into the sport to begin with, and then we even talk a little bit about parenting.
I'm a pretty good influence for that market, by the way.
All right. Well, everyone, you guys got anything else you want to say before we end this?
All good. Hey, be safe if you're in the Florida Panhandle and South Carolina and Georgia with this hurricane coming up. Just keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, it should be coming over to you, tomorrow, Matt, right?
I actually got promoted off the firefighting line into the fire marshal office, but they're putting me back on the line for the storm. So I'll be back on the engine.
Hopefully it's just some rain by the time it hits us.
I think it's going to be, I think it's overhyped, but I've been wrong before. Hence my go back and listen to previous episodes. I've been
Well, it's a category 2, isn't it? Right now?
It should be Cat 3 when it hits, but by the time it gets to us, I'm
South Carolina. Yeah.
I'm feeling a strong tropical storm, low Cat 1.
That's what I'm hoping to.
All right. Well, fellas, I'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome to talk to you guys.